Guys, this is Ms. Martinez, and in this video we are looking at learning how to really use our graphing calculator to look at real data and kind of figure out what kind of models we're looking at and make kind of projections and do all kinds of cool stuff. So in this specific video, I'm going to be using some data that represents tides in St. John, New Brunswick. And so this is a little coastal town, and what happens is there's a river that flows into the bay there, the Bay of Fundy, which you'll see right here. St. John River, for 7 hours, it actually is flowing normally like any river. But then what happens is the tide, because it's so strong in this one particular bay, it actually, the height of the ocean reaches the height of the river. And so it kind of has this, what is called a slack tide. And then what's crazy is the height of the tide in your bay is higher than some points of your river. And so the tide from the bay actually starts to go up the river. Like, we only thought salmon went upriver, swam upriver, but what happens is the water actually starts reversing, and so it creates these really cool what are called reversing falls, and kayakers and different crazy adrenaline junkies, they think it's super fun to go out there, but boaters, they have to be really careful, and they have to use these 20-minute intervals to safely complete their journey. So now, with all of that, why don't I show you guys how to use your calculator to do like what is being asked here in this first question, make a scatter plot of the data. So to do that, what we have to first do, if you're going to create a scatter plot, it's going to be using you go right here to where it says stat, because we're going to put in all these statistics. And so notice here that my lists are empty. But sometimes yours might not be because you've been running different diagnostics. What you would need to do, if there's anything in there, go to second memory, and then right here, clear all lists. That's selection number 4. You'd want to clear those. Another thing you want to be sure that is cleared is your y equals right here. Any equations need to be cleared out, and they are, so we're good to go. So what we're going to do is, we're going to press statistics, and we're going to edit our lists, and we're going to take all of this data and put it into our lists. My time is my x variable, and I know that because time is independent. It doesn't affect the height. Height is affected by time. The height of my tides are affected based on the time of the day it is. So we would come in here in the list section, and we would enter in all of these values, 1, starting at 0 and going to 1 and all the way through. So I'm going to do that real quick. Did you guys hear Diego? He was just whining in the background. Sorry about that. It's my dog. Okay, so now I'm going to just check that I typed all of that in correctly. Let me go to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Awesome. Okay, and now in list 2, I'm going to put my data for the height, and I'm going to go ahead and actually pause this, and because it's going to take me a little while, and then we'll check back in just a moment after I've typed in all the heights, making sure that they correspond. So I have all of my data now for the height in my list 2, and I've checked it all. Everything matches up perfectly. It's really important that we get our statistics entered correctly, otherwise it is going to affect our calculations for the rest of the project. So the first question was make a scatter plot of the data. So now with all this data, we're actually going to graph it in our stat plot. So we need to turn it on. So I pressed second stat plot, and now I'm going to press enter. And notice it is currently on off. I need to press enter so that it is on. Make sure that yours looks like this, where we have our little it's kind of like a little circle with a dot in the middle selected, and the type is, this is representative of a stat plot. Okay, so we can now go to zoom, and this is going to adjust my window, what I'm going to see of the graph. And I want it to zoom in on my statistics. I want to get like a good picture of all of them. I don't want anything cut off. And so when I press enter, there it is. These little dots all represent the data that we plugged in. So right here, where I'm looking right here, where like my X and Y axis intersect, that means time 0, height 0. So at time 0, I'm up here at, well, we can look right over here, at 7.29, and then it increases, and then it starts to decrease. It decreases all the way down to hour 8, which is about here, and then hour 9 it starts to go back up. And how do I know this? I'm just looking right here at this data. See, decreasing, starting right here, decreasing, going down, going down, going down, going down, going down, going down, starts going back up. And we keep going up until hour 13. So hour 13 must be right about here. And then we start going down, going down, going down, all the way to hour 20. Here's hour 21 right here. Hour 22 must be here. And this is hour 23. Awesome. Okay, so the next couple questions ask us, would an exponential, or I'm sorry, this first one asks, would a linear model be useful? Well, by linear model, what that means is, does this fit like a line? Does this look like a line? No, it doesn't. And so a linear model, it doesn't really model anything in a linear fashion. So no, this isn't a linear model. Look at all these curves. Lines are straight. This is not straight. Would an exponential model work? Ooh, well, we have to think back. What is exponential? Exponential growth or exponential decay. Those were the functions that did like this. They went slow, 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 and then they grew fast forever. Well, this doesn't look like that because it goes up and down, up and down. Exponentials are like flat line for a long time, and then suddenly it grows super fast. Would a quadratic model work? Well, man, it looks kind of like a parabola, but it's like a parabola here, and then there's a down parabola, and like this makes kind of an up parabola. And for us, whenever we looked at quadratics, it would be like, if you graph a quadratic equation, boom, you have either a happy parabola or a sad parabola, and that's it. It goes up forever at the two ends, or it goes down forever at the two ends. And this doesn't do with that. It's waving. What we actually have here is a sine model function. We have this periodic function that's going up and going down, cresting and troughing, cresting and troughing, cresting, and it would continue to do that if we continued to let the time elapse into like another day. And so we're going to use technology to generate a function that would fit this. So to do that, we need to go down here to, well, first we'll quit, exit out of there. And we need to, if we're going to use technology to model this, we have to turn our diagnostics on. Whoops. Sorry about that. Press second 0. And if you press, where is it here? I'm looking for letter D. Okay, here it is. if I notice that it starts at A, I want to go down to diagnostics, which is a D. And I could just like scroll, but that's going to take me a long time. So I'm going to press alpha and then this little button. Boop. Boop. Okay, there it went. And now I've skipped all the way down to D. And now if I just scroll a little bit more, diagnostics on, that's what I want. Okay, very good. Now we're going to run diagnostics on the data in our statistics. So we come here to statistics. I want to calculate the statistics here, and we are looking for a sine regression. We press enter. And then let me kind of scroll over here so we can, when we press enter, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so what it did was it took my data from the lists and it used the data from my list to create my sine regression. Notice here's kind of the setup, the A value, your B value, kind of telling you your period. C is your phase shift, and D is your vertical shift. You're going to want to make a note of all of these data points so that you are able to use this function to help you answer some of the following questions. All right, so let's write all this down. I hope that that was helpful for you guys, getting some just kind of like instruction on how to use your calculator. It's able to do so much more than we use it on a day-to-day basis. So I hope that was helpful, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.